Okay, guys, I'm coming off a high, okay? Because I expected One Piece chapter 999 to be amazing. I expected it to be fantastic, but not this good. This is what I expected from chapter 1000. And if chapter 999 is this good, chapter 1000. Okay, guys, what am I here for? Well, to talk about One Piece chapter 999. First, things we gotta get out the way. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. If you're coming back, rewatching the reviews and the discussions, now's the time to subscribe, okay? Because we're about to get into some serious stuff about what transpired in chapter 999. But enough delay, let's go. It's weird, right? But I feel like this chapter, it almost felt like two chapters thrown into one. That's how this chapter felt. That's how much content, how much material, storylines, events that happened in this chapter. And now I'm thinking about it, it doesn't even feel like Oda was jumping around. It feels like the story was just flowing and Oda was giving us information, and it feels like we got so much stuff. Again, I go by Brago D. Ace. Any chapter with Porcus D. Ace is one that you don't even have to ask me my rating, because you already know. When Ace got to Wano to challenge Kaido, Kaido was not there. Kaido and his men were not there. They went on an expedition. So we have to think about the timeline of when these things happened. This is Ace's rookie year, so still a couple years before Luffy went to sail. So in this instance, 4 years ago from the current story, I was trying to line it up with Shanks and say, okay, this is when Shanks became a Yonko, but Shanks became a Yonko 6 years from the current story. Where did Kaido go 4 years ago with his entire crew, or the top brass, to not be in Onigashima at all? That's something that may come up or pop up later down, but something that I noticed for sure. Wanted to let you guys know about it, right? But Ace was fighting Yamato, and Ace even said to Yamato, "You're so strong, you should be a captain," which is, I think, a lot of hype for Yamato, and it's what we expected. Yamato seems to be very strong. And Yamato's like, all right, I'm bored, I'll fight you. Something with Yamato and Ace that I always expected them to bond over is their hatred for their father. And in this chapter, they're bonding over their hatred for their dads. I'm going to wait for the official before I delve too deep into exactly what Yamato or what Ace was telling Yamato about her father, but based on this translation, right, Ace was saying that Yamato's heart is bound and she hates her father. This was really interesting coming from Ace, because we know Ace and how he felt about his father. So for them to bond over something like this it's weird, but it's expected. Because again, they're coming at it from different perspectives for sure. For Yamato, is based off of things Kaido had done. Kaido was a present father, right? Kaido wasn't like Roger, where Roger died before Ace could even know who he was. So they're coming from different perspectives, but they have a mutual respect for each other because of how much they hate their fathers. It's a weird thing to bond over, but either way, they bonded. Something that was also very clear to me is that without these shackles, Yamato is leaving with Ace. She's gone. She's out of there if she didn't have those shackles. But I'm not gonna lie, seeing Ace's crew was really interesting. I wonder if we get some more on them as the time goes on. Kaido and them weren't there. So Ace, he didn't get to accomplish his goal, but him and Yamato, they bonded. Even destroying the statue and Ace saying, yo, this is a reminder for Kaido that I will be back. So that was really good to me in regards to Ace, and even more characterization. Someone brought up, I think in my last review, was Oda milking Ace as a character. And I thought it was a ridiculous question, because there's still a lot of things we don't know about Porcus D. Ace. So for Oda to bring this back now, bringing it full circle with Yamato and their connection, their relationship, giving us some more about Ace, I think is great. Because for a lot of people, they feel like Ace was an incomplete character. They felt like he was fine, he was cool, but there's so many things they don't know about him, they wanted more. And for this, I think they're getting the more that they wanted. I think my favorite thing to see in this chapter, and it legitimately made me emotional, was when Ace talked about, you know, the pirates that were wreaking havoc already in the different blues, Law, Kid, and even Capone Gang Page. Ace said, that's fine, they're doing all of that, but my little brother, once he goes out to sea in a couple years, will be the most formidable of them all. Right? And just seeing how he looked, talking about his little brother, it was good. It made me feel really good seeing Ace talk about Luffy that way. And apparently Ace has been telling Yamato about Luffy a lot, because she's like, how many times are you going to tell me about your little brother? And I really like their dynamic and relationship, because it seems like, it felt like they were brother and sister almost immediately. And I guess, again, that bond over just the hate for your father, it was real. It was a real one. But more things happen. We could stay on this part of the chapter for the longest time, but there are more things we have to get to, and we don't want to make this too long, right? We have two separate scenes, but they go hand in hand. Yamato is talking to Shinobu and Momonosuke, and you have Nami talking to Tama, and they're both talking about Ace and Luffy. And for instance, Nami's telling Tama that Luffy was Ace's brother. Yamato is telling Momo that Ace was Roger's son, while also being the big brother of Luffy. I thought it was great in which they revealed how important this figure is, this figure being Luffy, and how connected he was to the characters that they love, right? Luffy was Ace's brother, and Ace was the son of Roger. So it just shows just how things come full circle, and even talked about it, how everyone, out of all the people that could have come to Wano, people that it could have met to save Wano, they met Monkey D. Luffy, the younger brother of Ace who wanted to come to Wano to save it. But why didn't Ace come back? Well, other than him dying, there are deeper things going on here in regards to Ace and the Whitebeard pirates. So it's coming true. Marco is taking Zoro to the top, but in the midst of that, Marco has a callback, a flashback to a moment with the Whitebeard pirates. We've talked about this on the channel before in regards to Whitebeard and why he didn't go to save Odin or avenge Odin. And essentially the explanation is it wasn't worth it. And now for Whitebeard, a lot of people are questioning his mantra about family, where for Odin being his brother, you didn't go to avenge him or save him. And I understand both sides, right? Because I understand why people are saying, well, that's your brother. It doesn't matter if he's dead, you go avenge him. You went to save Ace, why don't you go avenge Odin? And I think it's clear what the difference is. Avenge, save. Ace is still alive, Odin was dead. But I think the Thatch thing makes things a bit murky because we see a pattern here, right? And I guess if somebody dies, even though they're still on the crew, sometimes it's just not worth it. And that goes against some of the things we heard about Whitebeard in regards to him having family and loving family. If someone dies on his crew, you will always incur his wrath, things of that nature. But I don't think it's bad based on the Whitebeard's explanation because it makes a lot of sense. Whitebeard didn't want to go because Whitebeard understood that it would be a lot of casualties. And for Whitebeard, he wanted to retain his family, he wanted to protect his family, that structure. So I can't be mad at people feeling that way, but we got our explanation. We got our reason, and that's what it is. There can be several deep dives into Whitebeard's character and how Whitebeard understood how vulnerable he was, and maybe that played a part in his decision, but it seems like something that they thought about countless times. So it impacted them enough for them to think about it a bunch of times, but they never actually felt like it was worth going because of the casualties that could come of it. Say they go and they avenge Odin. They have no knowledge that Momonosuke is alive because from what they should know, if they heard that Odin died, they would hear that everyone died, right? And they found out several years later. So again, it was late. Odin was already dead. Do I want to risk this and go to avenge Odin? And this could also make me vulnerable because then I'm going to engage with another Yonko. Say we take a lot of damage, we come out of it, all of a sudden another Yonko pulls up on us and we're vulnerable. Or say the Marines pull up on us. I get it. I understand. I was one of the people banging the drum saying, why didn't he go save Odin? I made a video about it. But with this explanation and Whitebeard's age and his family structure, and we saw in the flashback when he talked about not fighting the Marines over and over. Again, I think Whitebeard is presenting himself to be a very complex character, a character with different things you can point at and poke holes in, but remains one of the best characters in One Piece. And I think, again, a flawed character, those normally make the best ones. So I absolutely loved that entire sequence. Seeing Blackbeard and his comments about Ace wanting to go take out a big shot, right? I'm like, Blackbeard. Blackbeard. Oh my goodness. And then Ace, I understood the reason why Ace did the things he did. People have to start understanding it more now because, okay, Whitebeard denied him going to Wano to return there based on everything that was going on. Kids being abducted, Kaido just running amok. Ace told him what was going on. Whitebeard said no. He said, okay, I'm not gonna go. Izo was weird as well, where Izo was like, if you're gonna go, I'll go with you. And Marco said that as well, because, they were ready if Ace or if Whitebeard allowed it. He never did, obviously. The second situation with Thatch and Blackbeard, that was when Ace drew the line. Ace said, no, we didn't go back for Odin, and now you're telling me I can't go for Thatch either? Whitebeard, Oyaji, I'm sorry, I cannot accept that. So again, they're different people, and I think Whitebeard became more of a pacifist, in his later years. They've made mention of Whitebeard being soft, and I think Whitebeard, this family structure, not saying he's soft against enemies, but he is in a preventative stage, making sure that his family is good. Even though those people that died are his family, is it worth the risk? And I ask you guys that. If you were Whitebeard, would you have gone? Because the story gave us an explanation, but if that were you, how would you feel about it? Because a lot of people are talking about it. I want to know how you guys feel about it. But that wasn't the end of the chapter. We got some more stuff now. We got some more stuff. Big Mom and Kaido, they talk about some important stuff. First off, Big Mom says, keep Nico Robin alive. So Big Mom knows about Nico. And they know about reading the poneglyphs and all that. Okay, because Big Mom talks about keeping Nico Robin alive. Then Kaido says, I thought you had pudding. that could read this stuff. And we discussed in my live reaction. I really suggest you go check it out. It was a really riveting discussion because we talked about a lot of stuff. Link will be in the description down below. What if with this alliance, Big Mom was responsible for finding out a way to read the poneglyphs, right? And therefore Kaido's like, okay, you had pudding. I thought that's what we were going to use. She's like, well, you know, we don't want to wait for a true awakening. So that's still an open thing. And Oda's touched on it twice now. So I'm starting to believe that's an actual thing where the three eyes, they can read the poneglyphs. But then Big Mom goes into Kaido's devil fruit. Kaido has the fish no mi, a mythical devil fruit. Now you're asking yourself, how does Kaido have a fish devil fruit? That doesn't make sense. Well, we have an explanation. And this was the story of the Dragon Gate legend in Chinese mythology. The story describes thousands of koi fish relentlessly swimming upstream the Yellow River current. At the end of their journey, they encounter a massive waterfall. Most of the koi give up and let the river's current carry them away. A few persist and carry on, trying to reach the top of the waterfall. After hundreds of years, a single koi reaches the top. The gods recognize this koi fish's determination and bestow upon it the gift of transformation into a dragon. Because of his bravery, the koi is also oftentimes associated with samurai. This could be Kaido's devil fruit, the koi fruit, and they mentioned the hints throughout the story. So the link to that will be in the description down below, but makes sense to me. Kaido has the fish fruit, and because it's a mythical fish fruit, it's that one koi, and that's how he has his dragon powers. Of course, questions are going to come up about, can Kaido swim? I think he definitely can drown because he can probably breathe underwater. Probably can't swim, but I think this is the closest we're going to get to the water devil fruit. I mean, it's a fish fruit, a mythical fish fruit. We may get some rock pirate stuff in the next chapter. That's probably what's going to happen. But, you know, with a momentous chapter like this, I will have a video in chapter 1000 early next week. And of course, we have our analysis Sunday, but guys, Goda. What else can we say? What else can we really say? This was a fantastic chapter. Guys, give me your thoughts. How did you feel about all this? We're going to get really in depth on Sunday because there's a lot we can get into and a lot of strong opinions that people have. Subscribe if you haven't, right? You made it this far, be sure to subscribe, like the video because that helps me out a lot. And that tells me you enjoy content like this, right? Follow me on Twitter at BrogODAce. Follow me on Instagram, brogody.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Also, guys, every Sunday we'll have a discussion, a live discussion, taking questions, having people in and out, guests, just talking about the chapter. So you'd want to stick around for that as well. I'm gonna have the best day today. We got an amazing chapter of One Piece and it wasn't even chapter 1000. Guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.